All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. A little bit of a rough weekend on my side. I do really hope you had a much better one than me. All right, so let's get into the weed sector. And it was a momentary bullishness across all of them. Didn't quite pan out across all of them. I would say MSOS is definitely going to be the best in the bunch, and I will not take 20 minutes to talk about only tilray and CGC on this go. All right, so MSOS is my favorite of the four. HITI had an interesting candle on Friday. It's actually a big one, though it was a small 5%. I don't want to undervalue 5% anyway, right, on the day. That's fantastic, but it looked like a big candle, and I'm curious to see if there was some news that I missed. But tilray, CGC, what was a good little moment of maybe once again the 8 and the 20 are really dictating what's happening with both of those, and that will be the theme across this. All right, but before we go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online, comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps me so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, being here, giving me your time, I am so grateful for it. All right, so tilray. Okay, I think the first place to start will be the news. All right, and I'm seeing a bunch of stuff about Germany legalization. So a little bit up and down on the facts about that vote, and I do apologize, right? But it looks like the vote did finally happen. It does look like the vote was passed. I saw some headlines that basically said legalization with restrictions. I'm at least glad the word legalization is getting a little bit more of the headlines, all right? That said, and listen, I've said this before, and I had a lot of people disagree with me, and I love it, right? So I am saying this, but I will echo what the disagreement was. To me, look, you can call me a naive American, right? I know there's a good amount of international people that watch this. There's such a diverse international group in the Discord. It's actually crazy, all right? Nonetheless, look, I believe American news does way more than European news. Now, Asian news, China specifically, right? But Asian news maybe is equivalent to the US. I don't put a lot of value in Europe, all right? And look, that there's just no offense to anyone out there. I mean, one of my boys was from Poland that we met on the Discord. Another one's from Wales. Believe me, I love the Europeans, right? But I don't know. I'm just again, call me naive, right? I have no facts behind that. But I didn't think that the German legalization was going to do stuff. Now, one theory that a couple people have said was, there's going to be some hype between now and April. All right. And I think that's maybe something to keep in the back pocket. I do, all right, because again, that's still tied with the German laws and the vote and how that's all going to play out, right? But yeah, I think to me, U.S. news is what matters. I don't know why. Again, call me a naive American if you want, right? But I had a lot of people disagree. I had a lot of people say that the numbers and the amount spent and the dollars in Europe, especially in Germany, really outweigh the dumb comments I had. And hey, believe me, right? Like I'm not saying it with fact, right? So I am more than happy to say I'm wrong, and I keep calling myself kind of dumb while I'm saying it, right? But yeah, I've always felt that like I said, the place of the headline matters a bit. All right, so let's talk about the technicals. And again, the story has continued to be what was a stock that was above the 8 and the 20, that was riding the lines like a champion, just bouncing and going. Once the earnings on the 9th happened, all of a sudden, it was impossible. Impossible, impossible, impossible to get over the 8 and the 20. All right. There was a good moment, a good strong candle right here on the 16th, where you can see it in the box over there. The high of the day was the close of the day at $1.92, right? It happened right here again, where the high of the day was the close of the day, and both of them were over the 8 and the 20, right? But confirmation is something I stress on every stock, every video, every sector. All right, we're not here for one good day. We're not here to get excited. Believe me, we move our expectations hoping for good to happen, but until it confirms, it's over, right? And my problem, my big echo has been under 172. I am for sure bearish. I am for sure very negative. All right. Between this 190 and 172, I'm kind of neutral. All right. And the problem with it is I still see an 8 and the 20 that want to keep going down. So my neutral, I feel like, is probably leaning a little bit more towards negative on this. All right. Because again, bad things happen under the 8 and the 20. And this is a stock where the 8 and the 20 go down for a while. This is a stock where the 8 and the 20 go down for a while. This is a stock where the 8 and the 20 go down for a while. And we're talking about months on months on months on months, right? Like we are now couple months down, and just again, as I'm looking at it, the slope of the line was that, right? We're now going a little steeper. Again, this is where high school math comes in, right? This is where we care about the slopes, because this slope is telling me we're going down a little more. All right, and I see the 20 following. I see the 20 getting worse, right? So where's the 50? Look, I'm also seeing the 50 moving average go from flat to less than flat. I think this is going to start curving down. I think the 50 might be doing a death cross on the 100 soon. Again, when a little one goes under a big one, that's a death cross. You want it to go above it. Hopefully it's a strong golden cross, not like a little horizontal thing right here. So TLRY, the technicals are scaring me. TLRY, the Germany legalization did not do what I think a lot of people expected it to do. The other thing to just kind of note, look, S&P 500 has been going up the last week, all right? The Dow Jones, the DJ30, has been going up the last week. The good market was not able to lift TLRY, right? So there are things that are making me so much more worried than I have been. All right, we've been dancing near this 172 line for a bit, and again, my fear is, and I drew it on the last video, if we lose 172, it might be a real fast fall to 151, and that's when we start talking about all-time lows. And you know, I call it a black hole vortex, and that's going to be the story for CGC. All right, so where's the weekly? Look, the weekly, under all 5 moving averages here. This is the first bad candle of it. So next week must close at 185 by Friday. Obviously more is better. Otherwise, oh man, I would be real scared to maybe hit 166 or worse by next Friday. All right. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Let me know if you have better thoughts about the legalization news and what you think the aftermath is going to be. Otherwise, let's take a look at CGC. All right. So very, very quickly, if you can please subscribe to the channel, if you can share this video online, it does wonders with the algorithm. All right. So couple things I want to say. So on the last video I made, I can't believe it's actually been a week. I've had a rough week on my side. So there was what looked like a bullish candle, all right, on this 216 on the Friday. When we looked at TLRY, that same 216 Friday, good strong candle. I haven't covered it just yet, but oh, I thought MSOS did have it. Did HITI have? Oh, you know what it was? It was SNDL. It was SNDL. 1 second. Sorry. This guy right here, good strong so there was a little bit of this, hey, maybe we're gonna do some good here. All right, now look, I have been and continue to be very bearish, very pessimistic on this, coming off the 1 for 10 reverse split. All right, reverse splits are death. Really quickly, let me just call this out. WMT, Walmart is about to do a 3 for 1 forward split. They're going to divide that number by 3. So come Monday, this is going to trade at $58.52. They're bringing the number down as opposed to CGC, which did some silly math to bring the number up. Okay, you want a stock that does a forward split, because what they want to do is make this thing cheaper so more people buy a lot more. Because hey, let's all be honest, right? And this is me inclusive. A $60 stock makes me want to buy 2 shares of it at $120 instead of maybe one at $175. Again, it's the silliest thought, right? It's the same money, but hey, we're all humans. We all have that thought, and a forward split makes me very, 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 very bullish. This reverse split makes me very, 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 very bearish. And as much as I believe the forward split is, I literally, I know I just said it. Give me a second. Look, that's the more attractive thing. Oh my gosh. Look, in my head, the 3-to-1 forward split will eventually 3x and get back to this price. Maybe it'll take years, right? I'm not going to say that it's going to take like months or anything like that, but it will. A forward split, I believe, continues up, up, up. This continues down, down, down. And that's where we're at. We are in the black hole of all-time lows. There is no past history. We are heading back down to where we did this reverse split from. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think we're going down to 40 cents anytime soon, but we're going down. All right. And there are moments, and I talk about this, right? You go away from the 8, you come to the 8. You go away from the 8, you come to the 8. Sometimes you actually get over the 8 and can maybe get to the 20. All right. And the one thing I said was, hey, maybe if we can get over the 8, there's enough red to go green up to here. All right. I did not think we were going to get over the 20, but hey, going from down here to up here would have been nice. You would have hit eject and then it would have come back down. The one good thing is this thing actually opens down here, and even the high of the day never gets as high as the Friday before, right? So it should have been pretty easy to not get fooled out, and then obviously you see it go back down. All right. So one thing I always talk about is when you go into the black hole abyss of all-time lows, you lose 20%. Then you lose 20%, then you lose 20%. We are really close to losing that second tranche of 20%, right? Because what was 4.05, if you've lost 20%, you've only got 80 left. You're sitting at 324. So we have not lost the first 20. That was horrible math, and I apologize. But yeah, we're real close to losing that first tranche of 20. And again, unless there's some crazy miracle that like just for whatever reason saves it, we're just going to keep following the 8 and the 20 down. All right? Because again, there are no educated lines for me to draw. There's nowhere for me to say, oh, I believe this is what's going to catch it. No, there's just nothing but the black hole abyss that is all-time lows. All right. Look, volume still has not surpassed the 50-day average. All right. What is happening though is the 50-day average was down here. Look, you can see I'm clicking right here, and it's 3 million. We're now kind of going up a little bit to 3.3, a 10% increase in the 50-day average. All right. So volume's going up. My problem is I'm seeing a whole mess of red days in that going up. So if volume continues to go up and that's the pattern, that could be scary. All right. I understand a 21 RSI is really low and a recovery would make sense. I just right here. Right? Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is a 9 RSI. This is, I mean, a little more than 6 months ago, 7 months ago, 8 months ago, right? I mean, it was an RSI that would go middle, up, middle, couldn't go as much up. It now feels like we're going to go down, middle again. So, because that's what whatever, I'm going back too far and I don't even see it that much, but whatever. I'm not liking this, all right? I really would not touch CGC look, this is kind of my answer, right? If there are moments where it looks like it might break the 8 and run to the 20, like, hey, look, for whatever reason, if we can get over 357-ish, 358, hey, maybe there's a reason to think we're going to go to 4. Maybe, right? I just would not believe we're going to get over the 8 and the 20 anytime soon. And I'm seeing that 50 come down pretty hard. Like, it's hard for me to say where I would enter this, honestly. It just, I need some more green candles to like maybe start. Like, I really wouldn't even draw a line right there. Yeah, like, you can make the argument that, yeah, that's probably a line, but yeah, to me, this is just one little random green candle in this sea of red, 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 red that we're building and like might go deeper down, right? So look, I'm not here to hate on a stock. I'm not here to wish bad things on any ticker, 3 letters, 4 letters, or 5 letters, right? But the last thing I'm here to do is tell you things are good and the sky is blue and life's all good when clearly there is fire all around us, black smoke in the sky, and just bad in the horizon, right? So I'm still scared for CGC. Hopefully there's a couple little bullish moments that maybe can get ridden as like a little bit of like look, we will once again go really far from the 8 and probably come back to it. Like, we're still really close to it. Like, it feels like we're going to come down a little bit away from it, and then maybe there's going to be a little bit of a red recovery, right? But oh man, this thing needs to do so much more for me to believe sustainable uptrend. Um, those are 2 words that just don't seem synonymous with CGC. I'm not looking at the weekly. This is a lot needs to happen on the daily. All right. Let me know your thoughts. Hey, let me know your opinion. Even if you disagree, I'm not here to hate on your thoughts. Right. I would love to have some good, educated disagreements. I'm telling you, it helps both sides learn a lot. All right. So that was CGC. Let's come take a look at MSOS, the shining star so far in this video. All right. Really quickly, if you can please subscribe. If you can please let me know your thoughts. Oh man, it does so much to these algorithms. All right. So MSOS, I was very, very bullish on this, all right? This is an ETF. You normally don't see ETFs just crush it like this, all right? And I know it doesn't necessarily seem like a lot, but I mean, arguably around 7 is where this became bullish. You can even, let's just take it on up. Yeah, that's still in, let's just take it to 8. Even going from 8 to over 10 is a 25% increase. That's not what an ETF does. This thing's supposed to bring you like 7%, but hey, at least it's green and you're happy, right? So good for MSOS. I think really, really good for the people that were able to go into the ETF, find those individual tickers that were starting to do well, and dominate even on those, right? Obviously, the ETF is going to be a little safer because it blends everyone, right? So some win, some lose. Hey, we still go up, right? Obviously, it could go the other way if things are bad, right? But yeah, this was beautiful, and what I'm loving is this technical recovery. All right, so you know, it's interesting because the dojis here are probably the thing that I'm noticing the most, all right? And I know for a fact I was starting to get a little worried right here, all right? And look, I'm only human. I always say, like, don't take my thoughts, don't take where I say my money is and run with it like, oh my God, this chart reader dude's doing it, I should do it too. Like, trust me, I am wrong, I am greedy, I am human. I sadly break the rules. I'm recording myself say at times, and it's like the most embarrassing thing when I go back and like learn from it, right? But nonetheless, all right, you can't let one scary candle dictate things. Now, don't get me wrong, this confirmed that we lost the 8, right? Like, that's for sure. But yeah, we never lost the 20 moving average because that was the first one to lose it. Doesn't count. That's all right, but nothing much. Doesn't count. Oh man, we're back over the 8. Oh man, we're now back over the 20. Crazy to me. Not only that, look, I'm going to delete this line, but I love that we have almost taken back that entire scary red candle. where we closed on Friday is what, probably 90% of that back. Love it, right? I mean, MSOS, MACD was getting so close to the negative line. Lo and behold, it holds and go. It's what I say. Look, I know it's such a small little positive, but I would much rather have a small little positive than a small little negative. You know what I mean? I'll take the positive. I see a line that's starting to curve up. Hopefully we diverge over it, right? So RSI is sitting at a very healthy 48. All right. And one thing, look, it's the opposite of what I just said on CGC. All right. Stocks tend to do one of two things with the RSI. There's not really a good example here, but you go from the middle to the high, to the middle to the high, to the middle, to what seems like the high one more time. All right. Otherwise, you do the inverse of that, which is you go really low, come back to the middle, back to really low, back to the middle, back to really low, back to the middle. Because again, you hear me. I always say things can't live up in the 80s and 90s. That's not sustainable. You go up, you come down, you go back up. This thing went up. This RSI was pushing. I know 73 doesn't seem like a crazy number, but 73 is really close to 80 for, again, an ETF, right? So that's the one thing with this thing. This is not the normal ticker, right? This is the bunch of them. So you go from 70 to a super healthy 40, back up to a 70, back down to a 50, maybe back up to 80. Like, I can see that happening. That'd be lovely, right? And just look at that volume. I mean, since, again, around that $7, $8 range I was just talking about, volume has been beautiful. And hey, you can argue since, November, late December, since Halloween of last year, volume's been much better than it has been worse on MSOS, all right? There is a trend line I'm seeing. Let me see if I want to draw this thing. I don't know if I want to draw it. I'm gonna not. I don't even remember if I mentioned it or not, but I think I like the moving averages. I'm gonna let the moving averages kind of do their thing right now. Maybe if we're able to escape and go higher, that's where I'll start drawing some trend lines. But so far, I'm liking it. Look, I'm seeing the 50 moving average still want to go up. All right, you got to remember the 8 moves what? 7 times? No, 30, 40. 6 times faster, 48, 7 times 40. Damn, that's horrible math. Whatever, it's Sunday. But the 8 moves a lot faster. So while this thing's going up, coming down, trying to go back up, the 50 is just trucking on up. And I love it because, again, that's the opposite I'm seeing on CGC, which is they're both coming down, and this thing goes from horizontal to kind of starting to go down, right? So MSOS, this is the best in the bunch. This makes me believe it wants to at least come to 990, just kind of rounding, 985. The goal is, let's retake this 1051. Let's run from 42 RSI to 70 RSI back to a good divergence on a positive MACD. Take me over that 1051. Let me do this. Hold on. I'm going to pause this real quick. It's cleaner when I do it like this. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to make a screenshot. The goal for me, let me do it a little bit better so you can see the numbers. The goal for me would be to go like this, maybe like this, and then go, obviously I wouldn't mind going from here too, right? But let me go from under the 1050 to over it. Let me hold it and bounce. Do you agree with me, Kitty? Yeah? Yeah, she likes that theory a lot, actually. Look at that. You got the backup of a cat. There's no better technical indicator than that meow. Oh, man, no, I'm kidding. All right, so MSOS, again, I'm liking this. Where are we on the weekly? Lo and behold, reattempting that 100 moving average. All right, we want some confirmation here, right? We got over it before but couldn't confirm. We're not quite over 50% of this thing. I obviously would have loved a couple pennies a little higher, but bring me right here. Even 995, it'd be a small confirmation, but I love that. Clearly, if we can break 1022, 1023, on Friday's candle, oh my, I would feel real good. Because why? Because why? I hope you see it. There is no 200 moving average. We would be over all the MAs. Man, it would make me just again think weeks of good. And clearly, if this thing gets over 1250, oh my gosh, I'm not going to draw the line, but a lot of good things would happen over 1250. I mean, it'd be nice. All right. So MSOS, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Let me know if I missed anything. Last one I want to hit is high tide here. All right. So really quickly, if you can please subscribe, please share. It does wonders with these algorithms. All right. So look, high tide has been and continues to try to break all the moving averages. All right. There's this. I don't know what to think, all right? Because again, it seemed like people liked just a lot what was said from the earnings. I know we talked about the impairment a little bit. I'm seeing a stock. I zoomed in too much. I know it says 0.00, right? But like, I'm seeing a stock just hovering, but not letting go. I'm seeing an RSI that's just like fading, not letting go. I don't see the volume though, and that is the one thing that's still missing on this high tide chart. There's a lot of moving averages really close. There's obviously those three really tight. The other two, I mean, I wouldn't call this a stone throw away, I guess, but you know, I'm seeing us go from living on the top to all of a sudden coming to the bottom, going to the top, coming to the bottom, going to the top, where we're starting to get really tight in these three lines. And I don't like that because it could easily spit us up and that would be good. It could easily spit us down and be bad, right? And excuse me, as much as these two are holding as best as they can, you can only expect so much when volume isn't there, all right? Now, man, my throat is dry, excuse me. Now, arguably, this view right here is in horrible volume. I think as I zoom into this is bad volume. I'm basically taking it from this end of January date right here, from the 30th onward. That's bad volume. Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to drink a little water. Ooh, excuse me. I don't know. I don't know what to think on this one. I really don't. I think things are just a little too tight, and I think the fact that TLRY is not doing well, SNDL, what looked like a good escape, is no longer kind of doing fantastically. I think high tide, as much as it's trying to be the strong outlier in the group, it can only do so much, is kind of what I'm thinking in my head. So, yeah, where's the weekly at? Oh man, the weekly obviously reminds me of MSOS, but it's not, you know, there is a 200 moving average on high tides weekly, right? So this has obviously been a lot older of a stock. None of the candles, I guess you can argue last week's candle was pretty legit, but none of them were like fantastic. There's almost like the wick up and down. It's not a doji. I would never call that a doji candle, but oh man. See, now I'm like looking down. I don't know what to think here. I'll be real honest. This is where I would definitely want to use my better set of indicators, get some thoughts, and like I just need more info, right? I need a little bit more down here. Look, we held a good amount of last week's weekly candle, not quite 50%. Maybe we lost 60, kept 40. I'm all right with that, right? At least, hey, we didn't give up 90% or 80% of it, right? But yeah, we have not broken that 100 moving average. And, you know, look, don't get me wrong, from the 100 to the 200, that's a lot of beautiful movement in a relatively red kind of channel right there, right? But I think there's a lot going on right there, and I think more than anything, there's too much going on the daily. I think the daily is where my main focus is, because like I said, from the top to the bottom to the top to the bottom to the top, that looks like a vortex. That looks like a tornado vortex of too many moving averages going horizontally. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. I'm sorry this was a little more indecisive than I'd like to do, but that's what happens when there's too many moving averages too close, right? Like, I don't got a crystal ball, right? And I would much rather be honest and say I don't know than give you a thought of up and down when I just don't have one, right? So let me know your thoughts, please. And as always, I appreciate you so, so much.